Namaste and welcome viewers to another brand new episode of Mirror Prime. As the nation rejoices its festive season, a disturbing series of attacks and threats have now emerged. These are raising serious concerns about national security, and what makes it even worse is the petty politics by leaders who are trying to maximize their electoral benefits instead of standing in solidarity. The attack in Jammu and Kashmir's Gagangir, where terrorists targeted essential infrastructure, has now put the focus back on the ongoing threat posed by separatist groups like the Resistance Front, which is an offshoot of Lashkar-e-Toiba. On the other hand, simultaneously, Khalistani elements have also been issuing terror threats, and a bomb blast outside a CRPF school in Delhi has now added to the atmosphere of insecurity. If you look closer, this pattern suggests a concerted effort to destabilize the country during a time of celebration and also to put fear among the population. While investigative agencies are actively probing these incidents, the law and order situation has become a subject of political sparring. While most parties, including the regional parties in Jammu and Kashmir, have unanimously condemned these attacks, some parties, like the Aam Aadmi Party, have decided to squeeze the political benefits even out of a sensitive national security issue. Take a look.
मेरे पापा ने बोला मैंने ठान ली है मैं आपको एक आईएएस ऑफिसर बनाऊंगा, लेकिन कल जब मैंने ये खबर सुनी तो मुझे लगा कि मेरा ये ख्वाब जो है शायद अब पूरा नहीं होगा, क्योंकि अब मैं क्या करूं। अब मैं अपने आप को संभालूं, अपने फैमिली मेंबर्स को संभालूं। मैं भी इन बच्चों जैसा हूं। अब इन बच्चों ये बच्चे खेलते कूदते हैं, मैं क्या करूं। मुझ पर मुसीबत आ पड़ी है। अब मेरे इंतजामिया से यही गुजारिश है कि वो आए। एसएसपी से मैं गुजारिश करता हूँ, एसपी साहब से गुजारिश करता हूँ, डीसी साहब से गुजारिश करता हूँ कि वो यहाँ आए, मेरे इस ख्वाब पर वो ध्यान दे।
सारे कीमती जानें छीनी गईं और कुछ लोग ज़ख्मी भी हुए। इस हमले की जितनी निंदा की जाए, जितना इसके खिलाफ बोला जाए कम है। बेगुनाहों के खिलाफ इस तरह तशद्दुद का इस्तेमाल ये कहाँ से जायज़ है और इससे हासिल क्या होगा। पिछले 35 साल से तो हम ये देखते आए हैं, लेकिन जम्मू कश्मीर में कुछ नहीं बदला।
ये बहुत ही दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण घटना हुई है। इसमें कुछ बाहर के लोग और कुछ स्थानीय जो उस जडमोर टनल पर काम कर रहे थे, उनकी दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण मौत हुई है। उससे भी तगड़ा एक्शन जम्मू कश्मीर पुलिस करेगी। उनके परिजनों को मैं आश्वस्त करना चाहता हूं कि जम्मू कश्मीर प्रशासन पूरी तरह से उनके साथ है। स्वाभाविक रूप से पड़ोसी के पेट में दर्द ज़्यादा है, इस तरह की कोशिशें करेगा, लेकिन उसका मुंह तोड़ जवाब दिया जाएगा।
भारतीय जनता पार्टी की केंद्र सरकार इतनी भी काबिल नहीं है कि दिल्ली जैसे शहर की कानून व्यवस्था को वो ठीक रख सके। कि दिल्ली के अंदर हर गैंग तो यहाँ पे सक्रिय है। मैं नाम नहीं लेना चाहता उनको बहुत प्रसिद्ध नहीं करना चाहता, क्योंकि भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने उनको वैसे ही बहुत प्रसिद्ध कर दिया है। हर जगह तो गोलियां चल रही हैं, पूरी तरीके से कानून व्यवस्था के अंदर फेल। भारतीय जनता पार्टी पूरे देश के सामने एक्सपोज्ड, क्योंकि ना इनसे कश्मीर संभला, ना इनसे पूर्वोत्तर के अंदर चीन संभला। वो तो छोड़ दीजिए, इनसे दिल्ली ही नहीं संभल रही, दिल्ली की कानून व्यवस्था नहीं संभल रही, इनसे गैंगस्टर नहीं संभल रहे, यहाँ की गैंगवॉर्स नहीं संभल रही।
All right, we'll be discussing this in detail and also trying to understand what really is happening across the nation. R.S. Pathania, BJP leader, joins us shortly. We'll be also joined by Tauseef Shah, who's a senior leader of the PDP from the Valley. P.K. Jain, former additional DGP Maharashtra, also joins us right now. R.S. Pathania ji, I'll start with you. There suddenly seems to be a spike in terror attacks and threat calls by separatist elements across the nation in the last few days. Do you see this as a deliberate, well-planned attempt to create unrest in the country, especially during the festive season?
Yes. Namaskar. First of all, a very good evening to everybody on board. Particularly with reference to the recent civilian attack in Jammu and Kashmir, especially the one in the Sonamarg area, there is a desperation and a frustration which is with a lot on the subversive and the terrorist element sitting across the border. You saw a Lok Sabha election in Jammu and Kashmir that with a historic voter turnout. You saw assembly elections in Jammu and Kashmir very recently, again with a historic voter turnout. And to top all, these elections were 100% free and fair. Though many big guns lost, many big wigs uh, uh, they they had bitten the dust, but nobody made pointed with regard to the veracity of the electoral process, which was the virtual practice in Jammu and Kashmir. So Pakistan is frustrated. The subversive element is frustrated just to make their presence felt. They are trying to resort to such cheap and diversionary tactics. But the punchline remains that Bharat Sarkar under the dynamic leadership of Narendra Modi ji and Amit Shah ji, with zero tolerance policy towards terrorism as its very vanguard. They are committed to create a Suraksha Chakra in Jammu and Kashmir, which virtually gives a sense of security to the people of Jammu and Kashmir, and virtually a total end, absolutely ending, putting a total burner on such incidents in future. Now, these incidents, these targeted killings, they stand as a big challenge, big conflict for the security forces, for the intelligence agencies also. But I'm of the view that we, as people of Jammu and Kashmir, we as civil society, people in Jammu and Kashmir will fight out, we have fought out, and will fight out terrorism. We stand tall and firm against terrorism, and ultimately Pakistan and all such terrorist elements, they will lose. Democracy will win. People of Jammu and Kashmir will win. A new era of peace, a new era of progress, a new era of accountability shall dawn in Jammu and Kashmir and ultimately in the entire India also. This is what the punchline remains.
Absolutely.
Please.
All right, former additional DGP PK Jain, I'll get this point across to you now. Do you see a pattern? Do you see a message that is being sent out here as far as this is concerned? All right, we seem to have lost the line there with Mr. PK Jain, but right now joining us is Tauseef Shah, who's a senior leader of the PDP. Mr. Tauseef Shah, appreciate you joining us right now. I just asked my team to play out. All right, we are playing out these visuals of Kashmiris taking out a candlelight march against these attacks. Mr. Shah, as a Kashmiri, do you think people of Kashmir have now had enough of this misery and outrightly reject these terror elements who murder innocents, disturb peace in the valley, and derail development under the pretext of representing you?
A very good evening to all the panelists and to you, Ashish, also. So, through your channel, I'd like to first to put my condolences to all the families because we condemn this act, that this is a very condemnable act that has happened. But the main thing is that we have to see that we have already enough of it since last 30 years. But now, just we have to be, this is just ringing the bells among the people of Kashmir, because in Sonamarg we have a military, we have an army, high-end warfare school. So that's a very high, it's a very high-fi warfare school we have in Sonamarg. These are few of them in India. So we have to see that this is just ringing the alarm bells throughout the valley, because due to this attack, we have to see that initially the focus was first shifted from Srinagar to Jammu, then to Dampened, then to different districts of the Jammu. Now it's coming back to valley. We have seen that very recently. We have seen a strike in Kokarnag. We have seen a strike in Anantnag. Now there's Gandarbal. So we just want to, by the help of your channel, we just want to ask that is our intelligence, don't we have the prior intelligences? If somebody is planning an attack on a nation, if somebody is planning attack on a civilians, don't we have the things in place that we beforehand come to know? We beforehand we are beforehand we can save these attacks, because this is not an ordinary attack. It's not an ordinary attack. We have a military high-end warfare school. I should be again clear to you that we have a very high-end military warfare school in Sonamarg going on. So it's all nation has its eyes on it. So we should not politicize it. Yes, it's a condemnable act. We condemn it. These are really the terrorist acts, we can say. So what I suggest is that we have to put a bit a strong hand on it. We need to have a strong hand to deal with these things. We don't want to repeat these 30 years what we have already seen, what we have already been. We already lost our We have already lost our loved ones. We've already seen the graveyards being filled with our youth, with the small children who would right now have been in their middle age and would have their own family, would have their parents are still suffering. Still, their parents are suffering. So this is, we condemn it. Yes, we really condemn it.
Mr.
It's a really
Shah,
condemnable act.
one
But
point
government
that
of
I want
India
to get
needs
out
to.
from you is you just said that the intel needs to be stronger as well, and we all agree with that. But meanwhile, one of the bigger points here that we need to talk about is that these people carry out these attacks, kill innocent people under the pretext of representing you. As a Kashmiri, do you think these people represent you?
No, nobody killing an innocent can represent me or my party or my Kashmir. Nobody killing an innocent can represent us. They were the laborers. What did they do? They were laborers. They had come to work here. What did they do? What exactly did they do? So why are they representing me? Not on my name, not on my party's name, not on the name of Jammu and Kashmir. Yes, they might have their own problems. They must have their own issues. But we need to see that this is the highly militarized zone. We have approximately not less than 10 to 12 lakh armed forces here. So if these things happen during what kind of military presence we have in Jammu and Kashmir, if still these things are happening, so then how much force do we need? Do we need this to be militarized fully? What exactly do we need? What about the other states of the India who just have 1 lakh, 50,000, 100,000, 200,000 forces? What is then their fate going to be? So we request government of India. They have to take a full care of this. They have to see that this being a very highly militarized zone, and still these things are happening. We need to have a stop on them. We need to have a stop on them immediately. We need to have a stop on them.
Absolutely. We all agree with that. This needs to stop. And of course, the government is doing everything that it can. Mr. R.S. Patani, I'll take this point across to you. Now, these terror elements very clearly seem frustrated with peaceful elections and also the swearing in of the new elected government. They seem to notice that Kashmiris have now chosen ballots over bullets, and hence these cowardly attacks on unarmed people.
You have exactly hit the right nail on the head. Ballot has virtually defeated bullet. And I will say also, desperation and frustration is writ large on the face of the Pakistan, on the faceless Pakistan, what I try to convey here. So, one thing which is very clear and very categorical, Jammu and Kashmir onto the path of reconstruction. First of all, the people in the valley, there's a virtual sense of security prevailing among us, not only the people of Jammu and Kashmir. You see a record number of tourists visiting Jammu and Kashmir. You see the color, the texture, and the tenor of the Lal Chowk also. You see the Polo View market also. You see the historic Amarnath Yatra. You see the Muharram procession. You see the Janmashtami procession flowing across the overall pomp, the gentry dancing on the streets of Kashmir. So this is what virtually takes and virtually perturbs Pakistan, and above all, a historic voter turnout, and virtually democracy winning and terrorism losing. So it's an adage that a flame which smolders with greater pace, it means that it is at the ultimate end. So this flame of terrorism, it is in its last stage. Bharat Sarkar is virtually fighting a war against terror, and this war against terror is in a very decisive stage. Virtually, it is taking a momentous turn. Ultimately, we will see a Jammu and Kashmir which is totally free from terrorism of all shades and colors. And especially, we have a Sarkar at the center with virtually being business. The Sarkar is virtually focusing that Jammu and Kashmir people should have zero tolerance towards terrorism. Sarkar which says there cannot be good terrorism and bad terrorism. So the operation all out raised by the Bharat Sarkar, this is yielding results. Now these incidents stand as a tall challenge to each and everybody, to all of us. But I think with everybody on board, with all constructive elements and suggestions on board, we will and we shall win. हम होंगे कामयाब और हम जल्द होंगे कामयाब. This is the punchline which they want to make to submit. Ultimately, Pakistan and terrorism will vanquish, they will defeat, and the people and the fighting spirit of the people.
I'll get in PK Jain here. Mr. PK Jain, we are talking about an attack in Kashmir. We are talking about an explosion in Delhi. And there are multiple threats also that are being given to airlines as well. And all of these, the common factor is that these involve separatist elements. Do you think there is a messaging here? Is there a message being sent out?
Ji, namaskar. Thank you very much for inviting me here. Well, there is a clear-cut message. The new government has taken over there. I do not know as to what is happening, what is the agenda of the new government. I mean, they will, of course, open their cards. They have not been in favor of the Indian Union for a long time. They have been specifying that they would like to have their Article 370 back and things like that. Now a government has come which has been very, very sympathetic to the cause of separatism in the valley for a long time. We have had a history since right from the beginning, but since late 1980s, we have this history of their supporting a particular fervor in the valley. But the larger question in the Indian context is that we have had a blast in Delhi, we've had a number of attempts at train derailment. We have a large number of attempts on disturbing the communal harmony in the country, and the threats to all the airlines, all these hoax calls which are happening these days. I think it is a much larger plot. It will be a big challenge in the coming festival season now. It will be a big challenge for the security forces and the intelligence setup to dig out information and to carry out pinpointed preventive measures as well as measures which happen or have to be taken after the incident has taken place. It is a big challenge for the security forces, and I hope that the country comes together and rallies behind the government. Unfortunately, there are a number of elements who have started criticizing the central government just at the drop of a hat. I don't think that is in the larger national interest. We must rally behind the government in carrying out specified operations against such elements who want to disturb, who are against the national security, and who are a threat to the national security as well as to the law and order setup in the country. I think it's high time that the police as well as the public in general, because it is impossible to prevent an attack on each and every location. The public also has to wake up to this threat, and they have to gear up their system to report anything which is suspicious, report suspicious people, report suspicious objects, and be an extended part of the security establishment. Namaskar.
Absolutely. I mean, citizens do play a big role here as far as the intel is concerned, which Mr. Tauseef Shah was talking about. But continuing on from there, Mr. Shah, Dr. Shahnawaz Dar of Budgam left behind a daughter and two sons. We just heard one of his sons speak there, and he was emotional. What have these terrorists, the self-proclaimed well-wishers of Kashmir, achieved by this mindless violence? Because the only thing that they do is leave behind a trail of destruction and orphans whose dreams are shattered forever. There's no way these people want anything good for the Kashmir or Kashmiris.
No, Ashish, we have, they already said that. We have already seen it since last 3 decades. It's not 3 years or 3 months or 3 days. It's 3 decades. When the militancy started in J&K state, I was just a teenager. Now I'm a middle-aged man right now. So we have been witnessing this. We have been witnessing these kinds of things. We have not achieved anything out of this. But let me tell you one thing, that the act that has been done today, I also witnessed his son's interview. I also saw it from your channel. It was obviously very, very, very emotional. But still, we have been all through this. He had the courage to speak. Maybe I may not have the courage if something like that happens to me. But let me tell you one thing. We also have to give it a very full consideration that this doesn't only hamper this has the repercussions that we are dependent upon the tourism industry. Our tourism industry would get hit. This would get badly hit if 3 or 4 or 5 or like attacks are going on once again. They are shifting again to Kashmir Valley. If we have 3 or more attacks in 1 month, or I'll say you that full of our tourism industry would be gone. So we have to request government of India, we request the armed forces, we request the intelligence agencies to be a bit on high alert. Yes, obviously they might have been thinking that there would be any problems during the elections.
Mr. Shah, what would be your demand from the Omar Abdullah government? Because they have clearly condemned this attack. Mr. Farooq Abdullah comes out and says that Kashmir will never become Pakistan, and this is something that will not be tolerated in the valley. What do you think should be on their agenda besides
Look,
putting out tweets and speaking about this incident?
Look, you cannot go on whatever Farooq Abdullah says, because we have been saying it. He's the same man who said that we'll speak to China, we'll make it a Pakistan, we'll surely make this a part of Pakistan when he was out of the power. Now he's in the power. He's saying like, no, this is not the part of Pakistan. We cannot depend on him. He's not a dependable person. We cannot. Yes, uh, whatever he says, we also say that we condemn it. Yes, we condemn it. Every normal human being should condemn it. But they have a history of betrayal. They have betrayed the people of Jammu and Kashmir in 1990, when, being the chief minister, he left the government for his own sake and left the people to die. While he was the popular chief minister, he got a popular mandate. In the year 1987, he left the people to die and he went to America. We cannot depend on him. Whatever he says, it's not. We don't count what he says. I'm very sorry to say on the national TV that we don't count what he says.
All right. Also, Mr. Shah, before we, of course, come to the end of this discussion, a lot of parties in the valley, I'm not going to take names here, were advocating for a dialogue between India and Pakistan. Now, with Pakistan's proxies carrying out such attacks, do you think a dialogue is possible?
Look, Ashish, I tell you one thing, that being a state subject of Jammu and Kashmir, and people like me, we have our part with Pakistan, we have our land with China. So how do we get it back? We have to get it back. We had done whatever accession Maharaja had done in 1947, that was for the protection of land. But you see that we have given the land to Pakistan, we have given the land to China. So who is going to get it back? How do we get it back? Either we should have that much military might that we fight and get it back, or then we have to go through a dialogue, because we need our land back. We have our brothers there. We have our half families over there. You'll see most of the Kashmiris, when there's a marriage on the line of control, in between there's a river. There are two brothers. One is on the other side of the river. The second one is on this side of the river. And they are giving ashirwads and they're waving each other. Okay, तुम्हारे बेटे की शादी है. वहीं से दूर-दूर से बातें हो रही है. So who is going to get us back? Either we do need a very highly military strength, or we need to go for the dialogue. Why don't we go for the dialogue? We need to take our lands back. We have our lands with China. We have our lands with what you call that Pakistan occupied Kashmir. We need that back. Why shouldn't we call it back?
Correct. Absolutely. Mr. Shah, I think every Indian watching right now does agree with your statement there, and of course shares similar sentiment, and also the anger as far as this incident is concerned, and also how innocent people are being targeted by people who claim to represent you and your community. In fact, R.S. Patania ji, most parties, including the Congress led by Rahul Gandhi, have unanimously condemned this attack and expressed support for our forces. But then you hear the Delhi CM and her ministers speak, and they seem to be settling their political scores against the BJP. Don't you think such political blame game and divisiveness plays into the hand of the terrorists?
My very, very respectful submission remains that, first of all, all political parties and all political players of Jammu and Kashmir, they should behave very, very responsible. They should act unitedly, they should pose unitedly, and they should give public positions also unitedly. First of all, terror is terror, and we have to fight it out at any cost. They should say, except of point, just for mudslinging, just for internal bickerings and all that, we need to be united on one principle. One, political parties across. First. And secondly, we stand up to Bharat Sarkar, we should support it also. And I think we stand, which was virtually settled by the Congress Sarkar also. And Bharatiya Janata Party has also strengthened that stand that talks and terror cannot go together. Thirdly, there cannot be permissible terrorism and impermissible terror. Terror is terror in all its forms and shapes. We need to go all out. We need to go tough, and we need to go to any extent to wipe out terror from the Jammu and Kashmir soil, lock, stock, and death. So my submission remains, my viewpoint remains that Bharatiya Janata Party has ultimately struck the right chord. We have virtually picked up the right string. we are virtually in the right direction, which has virtually delivered results also. Jammu and Kashmir has been a better state since 5th of August 2019, and since now we have seen a comparatively more peaceful Jammu and Kashmir. So I think we need to go in such direction. We need to take people on board. We need to develop human intelligence also. We need to have a coordinated grid of all security forces. And ultimately, as I said also, Jammu and Kashmir, in Jammu and Kashmir, democracy will win. Ultimately, the people will win. And ultimately, terrorism will get defeated. These all subversive, negativist, and separatist forces, they will ultimately find their doomsday. They will ultimately find Waterloo in Jammu and Kashmir. This is what I want to submit. And a
All
very
right,
humble
all right, Mr.
submission to
Aris Patania.
everybody.
Like you rightly pointed out,
You
this is, of course, a
Well-
national security issue. And united we stand, divided we fall. I think it's high time every party does realize this. Appreciate you joining us on the broadcast, Tauseef Shah and also PK Jain. Appreciate you joining us on the broadcast, bringing your points as well. And of course, as Indians, every single one of us does condemn this particular incident and also what's happening across the nation. We'll, of course, be joining you back with lots more. But on that note, viewers, it's a wrap on this edition of Mirror Prime. Lots more lined up on the other side. Stay tuned.